Hi, this is author-philosopher Ronald E. Springer of EthicsUnderground.com here to continue the reading of Moral Armor. Chapter 8, Part 19, Enterprise of Mind. Please hit like and subscribe before we dive in. When a man gives in to fear and reduces himself to a helpless, quivering mass, it infects everything he does. It changes his approach to life from one of utility and enjoyment to an odd struggle to covet and preserve pleasing illusions, with reluctance ever to exercise his mind's proper function. The strain of reality never gives the fear-driven a moment's rest, so to him, peace is impossible. As his ideal is a mental state undisturbed by thought, his outward manifestations are simple extensions of this desire. To him, the projection of peace and prosperity has a very different meaning. A semblance of peace comes only after conquest, which lasts only as long as it takes to digest prior pillaging. Clinging in fear to life, his death premises must be fed with new victims, as he is, like it or not, a living being. Prosperity to him is a constant flow of unearned goods. His first motive was to get all he wants, not to earn it, just to get it. But such gluttony is quickly identified, even by him, as a distraction, and his mind presses on for the true means of satisfying a natural craving, a productive or destructive endeavor. Life allows no negation of purpose. To maintain even the most rudimentary comprehension, all men must practice the mechanics of mind at some level. A man's enterprise of mind, his fundamental purpose is his expression of self-esteem, or his evasion of its lack. If a pointed plan is not chosen in life, random integration and disintegration is the resulting plan. Life lived in an orderly, controlled, structured way is a human attribute. The structured is the intelligent, the noble. The fear-driven have no regard for order in their lives, as order is defined by a hierarchical value system, a patient construct of the rational. He senses order not as a sound intellectual frame, but as a cognitive straitjacket, limiting him in a way that is intolerable. It's too clear, permitting no cover, no fog, and no blanked-out safe haven for his falsified esteem. It is this place he values above all, his oasis of thoughtless, blameless, obligationless freedom. When a man is freed from the responsibility of life, from profit in body and mind, he is disconnected from all responsible courses of action. When he is left to float, he is able to distort life's purposes and to live without sound purpose. Negating his mind and righting others, he can propose and pursue any evil without regard for consequence. An independent man would never have time for that. With the maintenance of his physio-spiritual life as his chief concern, the efficiency of that quest would drive his every thought. When a fear-driven man is free not to consider life, he doesn't. He contemplates its opposite. When someone presents him with the irrational, he pursues it. Fear-driven man becomes absorbed in anything that allows the essential questions of his life not to be addressed. Even what seems a normal logical involvement can be chosen by unhealthy fear-based motivations. Dating, friends, and children can be a product not of personal desire, but of panic over the question of what to do and who to cling to, erected as a barrier to their own secret dreams. Spirit murderers start with themselves. His enterprise is wholly in fraud, in a manic interest not to face his core default, and he spends a lifetime building a defense against it. Whatever cleverness he possesses serves to fake to himself and to others that his default is something other than it is. His underlying theme in constant self-reflection is, it isn't true. His only belief in the power of the mind is in the success of his evasions. He says, if existence is whatever I want it to be, then what I did yesterday didn't happen. It is wiped off, even out of the minds of those who witnessed it. I can move ahead with a clean slate, ready for new filth. What he doesn't realize in the folly is that most everything he enacts or supports addresses his weaknesses directly. Consumed with the protection and concealment of his flaws, he works hardest to validate his own futility. He reads the Riot Act on why goals aren't possible and why his destiny is not in his hands. Let him have the floor, and you'll hear how goals can't be planned. Virtue is hopeless, and no one can know anything. That men are evil cannibals by nature, and the world is going to end any day now in chaos and calamity. What he is actually describing is himself, his hatred and fear for life, and the fragile mental structure he's built. Stop him in his blind fury, and he might see that he is the one with human arms and legs dangling from his mouth. If he can get you to ditch your mind and join him in his trench, then he feels justified to relax into his panic. I should feel panic, he wishes to confirm. Without an illusory barrier, he faces a void, and on the other side, the truth of his own chosen impotence. He'll fight like a dog to declare the focused and determinate as evil, allowing his indeterminate heaven to reign, his only image of self-esteem, or more accurately, the only shutter hiding his self-hatred. All he has to do is harp on it long enough and menacingly enough for it to be true. Where does it leave him? Stuck with his aversions, safely as he sees it. Let him go on, and you'll hear of his illusory jackpot, the sales pitch that all values requiring effort to achieve in our world require none in his. His virtue is not earned by work, but by lack of work. All of our earned pride and happiness is a preposterous illusion, and all of his illusions are a command. His heroics portray not the courage of action, but of inaction, not the beauty of strength, but of weakness, not the honor of rewarding intelligence, but of emanating pity. He need do nothing to meet these standards. Stepping farther, the practice of virtue, productivity, can be considered selfish treason in his world, and all treason a virtuous sign of faith. As no mind is recognized, contradictions cannot be exposed. As there is no process of validation, no errors can be invalidated. His goal is to devise an environment where he can feel significant without doing anything significant. He believes that his get-away-with-it mentality has created an alternate universe where he can be powerful too, without representing the virtues required. But the truth is, his world isn't a world at all. To describe any part of it, he must give it form by damning reality as a point of departure. It is the inverse of the world that exists, nothing more. It's our world minus effort and responsibility, our world minus honesty, where a man lives not by acts of will, but by wishes. The joke is on his followers. Alluding to a world where one's mind is replaced only spurs the dilemma where one's mind becomes powerless. That's all for now. Next up is the abyss. Irrational invalidation. I split these videos up by subject so you'd have a better chance of finding moral armor, and then perhaps go through the whole thing for free. Why? To help create a leader in every life. Sound civilization stair-steps up from sound coherence, to sound individual, to productive groups of mature individuals. Self-hatred drives fear-driven people in our world to wipe out the individual, so we all need moral armor to protect ourselves and the future of mankind. Click subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you'd like to help wipe out moral confusion fast and make the world a better place.